Hi, my name is Jennifer Matos. I'm the Executive Director of the Noah Webster House and West Hartford Historical Society, and I'm bringing you the 26th edition of our Armchair Tour of West Hartford history. I'm here with a very special guest today. This is Elizabeth Rose. She is the Executive Director of the Jewish Historical Society of Greater Hartford, and we're actually in the northeast part of town at the Jewish Community Center complex. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the Jewish movement into West Hartford and the importance of this site, as well as the sculpture that is standing behind us. So you may recall from a prior episode, we had talked about Congregation Beth Israel, and that was a synagogue that was actually brought to West Hartford in 1936. And that kind of led a movement of Jewish families and businesses moving to West Hartford. So there were a few that had started in the 1930s, but the bigger movement happens after World War II, especially in the Bishop's Corner area of town. So families were moving from the north end of Hartford in the 50s and 60s and coming to Bishop's Corner with land basically being developed between Bishop's Corner and King Philip Middle School into single-family houses. And synagogues also followed. So Beth David was dedicated in 1945. Beth El Temple dedicated its new building on Albany Avenue in 1956. And in 1956, Emmanuel Synagogue also built a school and auditorium on Mohegan Drive. In 1967, United Synagogues of Hartford moved to North Main and Albany. And several others followed. So there was this huge movement of the Jewish population to West Hartford. As the population here in West Hartford grew, the Jewish Community Center actually followed suit. So the Jewish Community Center had actually been established earlier on, and it was located in Hartford. In 1948, they had an opening on Asylum Avenue, and they were offering a nursery school, clubs for seniors, adult programs, and religious programs, and also as a training site for social work grad students at the University of Connecticut. And the population grew, and they decided to try to make a bigger building on a new location, which ended up being the location that we're on right now. So in the 1950s and early 60s, there were plans to build this new complex, and it was actually designed by Walter Gropius and Norman Fletcher of the Architects Collaborative, and they designed this modern building that was originally the site of the Fire and Casualty Insurance Company of Connecticut. In 1962, the JCC opened a new building, this building on Bloomfield Avenue. The Jewish Federation moved to a renovated firehouse on the same site. And this, of course, has wonderful recreation facilities, an auditorium, lounges, meeting rooms, swimming pool, nursery school, and classrooms. In 1985, the new Hebrew home next to the JCC was approved for building. And then in 2006, the Community Services building behind the JCC was dedicated, which houses the Jewish Federation, the Jewish Community Foundation, and the Jewish Historical Society. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Elizabeth, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the Jewish Historical Society and also about the sculpture behind us, which is by Elbert Weinberg.
Thanks so much, Jen. The sculpture that we're standing in front of here was designed by Elbert Weinberg, who is a native of Hartford. He designed it in 1981 under the permission from the Jewish community here. And the sculpture was designed to represent the birth of the Jewish people after the Holocaust. The massive arms appear to be coming out of the ground, holding aloft a huge shofar. The sculpture is actually 18 feet high, and as you may know, 18 is a significant number in Jewish tradition, which symbolizes the word for life, or chai. The shape of the sculpture itself actually makes the shape of the letter of the word chai, with depending how you look at it, the yud could be the top of the shofar, if you're looking in the other direction. Each of the arms bears a number from a concentration camp. The number that you can see here on this side is from the arm of a survivor of the Holocaust, Regina Jacobs, who is a West Hartford resident. And the other arm bears the number of a person who perished in the Holocaust, who was the father of West Hartford developer and philanthropist David Chase. So the sculpture is intended to honor both those who were victims of the Holocaust and those who survived it. The committee responsible for the monument charged the artist to design something that would be uplifting. And you see the hope represented in the sort of thrusting out of the earth and as a symbol of the rebirth of the Jewish people after the Holocaust. Weinberg had also designed a Holocaust memorial in Wilmington, Delaware, which is quite different in its conception, but similarly serves as a place for the community to gather to honor and remember and memorialize the Holocaust. Weinberg grew up in the north end of Hartford, like the families that Jen's been talking about, and he during the war, and he dreamed of becoming an artist, and more specifically a sculptor. His mother, Rose, helped him gain admission to night classes at Hartford Art School when he was 14, and he studied with a man who had emigrated from Germany during the 30s to escape persecution by the Nazis. He graduated from Weaver High School in 1945 and went on to study in several different places, including in Rome. And then he came back to Connecticut to study at Yale, studying with modernist Joseph Elbert. But he could not reconcile himself to the modernist approach and kind of went off and did his own thing. So he began producing monumental figures holding religious objects related to Jewish liturgy, such as Torah scrolls, Bibles, and shofars. A museum started buying his sculptures in the late 1950s, making his dream of creating public art come true. So clearly he had grown up hearing stories of the killing of Jews during the Holocaust, and several of his teachers were people who had escaped from Nazi Germany. He believed that sculpture should be an important part of the community, a visible part of the community, so he wanted to be very public. And he continued to explore Jewish subject matter throughout his career, as well as doing other kinds of projects in cities around the United States. He retained close connection to his native Hartford with his family and the local Jewish community as they had moved into West Hartford and Bloomfield. So this was dedicated in 1981 and became a place for the community to gather as it was dedicated. Weinberg also did the sculpture that you might be familiar with outside of Beth Israel on Albany Avenue, which was commissioned in 1975 by Arnold and Leonard Greenberg. And that consisted of a group of ritual figures holding scrolls, holding Bible, blowing shofars, and that was meant to be seen from different angles and was effective both close up and as you drive by, and we think could be said for this sculpture as well.
Thank you so much. I had no idea there was so much significance in this sculpture, and I'm sure many of you have driven by it and probably were wondering what the story was, and now we know, and you can come on campus and take a look at it if you're interested in seeing it in detail, and you can see, as has been said, the numbers on the arms, which I think is really powerful. Elizabeth, do you want to tell us a little bit about your organization?
Sure, thank you so much. The Jewish Historical Society of Greater Hartford is going to be soon celebrating its 50th year, so we were created in 1971. And the purpose is to tell the stories and preserve the history of the Jewish community of the Greater Hartford region, so that extends beyond West Hartford and West Hartford, but we have a great collection of more than 1,000 oral histories that have been done over the years, photographs, papers pertaining to synagogues, organizations, and families, and we do a lot of public programming under normal times, and in the current time we do a lot of public programming online. So please check us out and feel free to join us at our next program or give us a call and we can do research together.
Absolutely. We're just so delighted to have a close partnership with the Jewish Historical Society. We both kind of collect the history of West Hartford. We just have slightly different scopes in what we collect. So we see a lot of overlap and a lot of collaboration, and we're really excited to have you be the pretty new Executive Director. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you learned something new, and we'll see you next week.